Okay, and we are live. Good morning, Todd. If you'd go ahead and check your test your audio and visual, that would be great.
You guys hear me?
Perfect. We can hear you. That's great. Good morning, Tony. If you would go ahead and check your audio and visual, that would be great. Member Pace?
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
We can. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning. Chair Thompson, while Member Rumble is going to try to connect in, he is reaching out from someplace with bad reception. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and get started at this point.
Okay, I think in the interest of time, we should get started. Hopefully he can join us. Good morning, everybody. Rafaela is on vacation, so I'm chairing today's meeting again. And so I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for attending today. I'm going to go ahead and read our provisional language we need to include on the agenda. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E and the recommendations of the Health Officer of the County of Sonoma, the Santa Rosa Tourism Business Improvement Area Advisory Board members will be participating in this meeting via Zoom webinar. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting as noted on the city's website and as noted on the agenda. Eileen, could you please review how the public may comment on today's meeting?
Yes, members of the public who are coming in via Zoom may use the raised hand feature, and for those that are calling in, press *9 to be recognized, and you will receive a prompt to let you know that you're able to speak.
Thank you. And the recording secretary will now take roll.
Member Pace,
Here.
Member Renteria,
Here.
Member Anderson,
Here.
Chair Thompson.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all members are present with the exception of Member Riverio and Member Rumble.
Oops, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, public comments. This is the time when any person may address matters not listed on this agenda, but are within the subject matter of the jurisdiction. The public may comment on agenda items when the item is called. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. I do not see any members of the public. Eileen, could you confirm that we do not have any other public comments at this time?
That is correct, nor were there any voicemails or emails for this meeting.
Great, thank you. All right, let's move on to item 3, approval of minutes. Minutes from the May 26th meeting have been distributed for your review. Are there any additions or corrections to these minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I'll make a motion to approve. This is Tony.
Great, thank you, Tony. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Donna.
Thanks, Donna. Okay, the recording secretary will now take a roll call vote.
Member Pace,
Yes.
Member Renteria,
Yes.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the meeting minutes have been approved as submitted.
Thank you. And moving on to item 4, event support applications. Today we have 2 event support applications. One is the Beer City application that was continued from our last agenda in May. So that is item 4.1, a request for Beer City Santa Rosa taking place downtown and at a Place to Play park on February 25th of next year, 2023. They're requesting $27,250 for overall event costs, including marketing. Their anticipated attendance is 1,630. And they are estimating 50 room nights. I can go over any other details as needed, but are there any specific questions from the board about this request?
Not about this request, but if you could review our overall funding status of it, that would be helpful.
Of course, yes. So currently, we have $14,000 remaining in this year's budget for event support. At our last meeting in May, we approved funding for Beer Fest and Snoopy's, totaling $12,000. And then previously back in March, we approved $24,000 total event support. So that leaves us with $14,000 left.
I'm sorry, did you say that we approved for Beer City previously?
Beer
Or
City,
is that a different beer event?
Beer City is a new request this year.
Copy, thank you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we can go ahead and just put a motion on the table for this one and have discussion. Does anyone want to go ahead and put a motion on the table for any amount of support? The requested amount again is $27,250. Obviously, our remaining budget left is only $14,000. So not sure what number you might be comfortable with starting at.
I had one more question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Is there any other events on the horizon that may possibly ask for support before the end of the year?
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I was hoping, I think Charlene is not available to attend today's meeting. I think she's out right now. And Peter's not on the call yet, I don't believe. So I don't know what we might be anticipating between now and the end of the year. In terms of events that the city is permitting, there are no other large ones that we normally see get this event support, but that doesn't mean that there aren't others that I might not be aware of.
Chair Thompson, Member Rumble has just joined us.
Great, perfect. Welcome, Peter. I don't know if you're able to address that question. Todd was asking if there are any upcoming events that we still might be receiving event support requests for.
Yeah, I've got, I apologize. Charlene's a little bit closer to that question than I am. But I don't believe we have big asks sort of in the wings pending that are for this year, for 2022. Now, I do know that we've got some stuff lining up for, early 23 and beyond, right, and into 23. But I don't believe that there's many pending for 22 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Can everybody hear me? I'm sorry, I've got really bad reception.
Yeah, we heard you. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that.
Yep.
So and before we do the motion, any other questions we can try to address? Then we should go to public comment before we put a motion out. Okay, let's go to public comments for this item 4.1. Eileen?
Wonderful. We do have Adam Ray, who is the event organizer's hand is raised. Just one moment. Adam, you should have the ability to speak. If you could confirm that you are able to see the timer, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I can see the timer. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I want to thank you for not having public comment on camera. It's very generous of you. I did submit in April, and then again after the last meeting, a proposal for the Santa Rosa Turkey Trot, and that seems to have not been distributed to the board, and that's fine. The reason I bring it up is, to us, to my company, the window of time between Thanksgiving and February 25th for Beer City is kind of one big marketing window for us. We expect about 2,000 people to the Turkey Trot. About 40% of them come from out of town. And we look at building engagement then and marketing to those people all the way through to Beer City on February 25th. We've got a database of about 3,000 people that have taken part in our Turkey Trots. And Beer City is now actually a franchise of events that will take place in Calistoga and Alameda. So, what we're describing in that proposal for Beer City has a lot of lead up to it, where we really feel like we can effectively market Santa Rosa in February, during February. I feel like the plan that we are offering is a pretty aggressive one. It's not easy to propose something like that in February. And we thought of it specifically to address what we thought was a need in Santa Rosa, to fill in that period of time. And then we've got this good marketing surround. We are a marketing agency with expertise in advertising nationally. So the things between those two events, those two proposals, the idea of what we could build Beer City into in that real down month, we can deliver on those promises. And I thank you for considering the proposal, and thank you for whatever support you can give, and welcome any questions, of course.
Thanks, Adam. I just want to jump in really quick and say the Santa Rosa Turkey Trot application is on this agenda. We'll be discussing that next. So we did receive it. It is on this agenda. Sorry, I was muted. Any specific feedback or questions following that public comment? Otherwise, we should go ahead and put a motion out on the table for discussion. Okay, so does anyone wish to make a motion to support this event?
I'd make a motion to support in the amount of $7,250, which would be the advertising and marketing materials that they outlined in the request.
Great, thank you. Do I have
I'm
a
sorry,
second?
how much was that?
Sounded like 7,250.
Yeah, that,
Correct.
Is there a second?
I will second that. That's about what I was figuring.
Okay, any discussion? I'll just add my thoughts that given our total remaining budget for the year is only 14,000, I think that's about as much as we can do, given we have another request. So I feel comfortable supporting that. Tony or Peter, any other thoughts? Or shall we take a vote?
Sounds like it's time to vote.
Okay. Eileen, could you please do a roll call vote? And again, the motion on the table is to support the Beer City Santa Rosa event with $7,250 for advertising and marketing.
Absolutely. Member Pace,
Yes.
Member Renteria,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Chair Thompson,
Aye.
Member Rumble.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion has passed, that event support will be approved in the amount of $7,250.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll move on to item 4.2. This is a request for the Santa Rosa Turkey Trot taking place downtown on November 24th, 2022. As Adam said in his public comments previously, this is the other event being put on by his company. They're requesting $7,500 for advertising, marketing, and PR. Their anticipated attendance is 2,000 people, and they are estimating about 20 room nights. Are there any questions from the board about this request? There are no questions. We'll go ahead and take public comment for this item as well.
There are no hands raised at this time, nor were there any voicemails or emails for this.
Okay, just want to make sure I give Adam an opportunity if you want to make any additional comments since we are reviewing this event. Please put your hand up, otherwise we'll just move on. Okay, go ahead.
And he has. And Adam, you should have the ability to speak. And if you would just confirm your ability to see the timer, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I can see everything. Thanks very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah, just a quick comment on the turkey trot. These are, as I said in the comments, the goal around the turkey trot. We have a large percentage of people who come from out of town. A good number of people, only maybe about 10% that come from out of state. So the idea and the plan, and obviously people aren't going to travel cross country just for the turkey trot. But what we're trying to do is make sure that they have a choice to stay in Santa Rosa, and we market that to them. They're coming to visit family usually. And then two, that we create as many hooks into business so people are spending money specifically in Santa Rosa and in downtown businesses, in the lead up and especially during that week after when everybody's on holiday. So that's a lot of what's in the kind of marketing plan behind the turkey trot. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Adam. Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to support this event? Well, since our budget now is down to 6,750, we do have limitations there. Is anyone interested in putting forward something for that full amount and wiping out the rest of our budget, or is there an alternate idea there? Okay, well, I will go ahead and make a motion. Oh, sorry, anyone chiming in? Is that you, Peter?
No, I'm sorry. I was just, I think, about to do what you're going to do and say, you know, just to kick us off to put a motion out there for either the remaining balance or something like 5,000. And can't really read the room. I'm sorry, but I'm open to certainly want to support the event.
I was headed more towards 5,000.
Okay. Well, Peter, would you like to make that a formal motion to do 5,000? It sounds like Donna would second that.
Be happy to.
Great.
So moved.
I'll second it.
And you'll second. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. And any discussion, any thoughts from anyone on this? I think we all want to support the event. We just have a limited budget left.
Yeah, I have a thought. If there's more applications coming in the beginning of 23, wouldn't that come out of 22's budget like the Beer City's beginning of 23? We're supporting that with 22's budget. So if Peter, you said that you thought there might be more requests for support for the beginning of 23, I'm thinking we should kind of leave some money in the kitty in case something else comes through. So I would be in favor of more along the lines of like 2,000 maybe.
Well, I want to clarify something, and I don't know if we can get this answer right now, but I'm still a little bit unclear on how in the past this board has handled event requests that are in the next calendar year. Eileen, because you've helped process those payments, do you know, would the event support for the Beer City event come out of next year's budget, or how has that worked in the past?
So it's really dependent on the timing for issuance of the payment. Because if we're issuing in January, then there would be, because the city's calendar year is different than the board itself. So there will be additional funds in January. So if we were to issue the payment, then yes, that we could leverage the 2023. But if we are making that payment earlier, obviously that would be coming out of the 2022.
If I could add just a little bit additional context to that, we pay in arrears based on performance, based on the awardee providing a report and documenting and demonstrating that they spent the funds in accordance with the committee's direction. And so even if an event happened in January, it would necessarily be funds out of 23's budget, not 22's budget.
Okay, so I might suggest then that we put an asterisk next to the support that was just approved for Beer City, because it will be coming out of a new year's budget. That's the way I'm understanding that. So, so we really currently, before we take any action on the turkey trot, still have $14,000 remaining in this year's budget, is the way I'm understanding that.
That would be a good point. I wasn't tracking the date, sorry.
Okay, so I mean, I think it's fine for the board to approve an event support. It's just a matter of what year budget we're taking it out of. So I think we can accommodate that on our end in terms of how we do our budget and when the funds are being issued. And so for the purposes of the board to make a decision on the next event support application, I think having in our minds that we still have $14,000 remaining in the budget is the best way to proceed. I am going to go ahead and ask Adam. Looks like you have your hand up. I'm happy to hear any additional comments that you might have.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, I was going to just ask everyone, with any event like this, is there a sort of basic cost to set up and run an event, just kind of like a fixed cost? You know, event you're gonna have to pay?
No, every event is slightly different. I mean, in terms of like set costs for permits that they may need to use city property, things like that. Those are all things that are somewhat set, but depending on where the event is taking place, how many streets are being closed, if any, there's a lot of variables that change the cost for the event, if traffic control is needed, etc. So no, there's not really one fixed number that applies to all events.
Okay. And then they pay for sanitation, portable restrooms, permits.
Correct.
Say maybe $2,000, just.
I really don't feel comfortable providing an amount.
Yeah,
Every budget,
okay.
every event has their own budget.
Okay.
Okay, looks like Adam put his hand down, or Adam, do you still want to add anything about the turkey trot?
yeah. Can you hear me? I was just going to add more on Beer City. You know, it is I mean, my intent was to try to be as eager and early as possible with the board. If it's better to consider this in January, I can, and if it's more likely to receive more support, we could hold back Beer City until, you know, later in the fall or something. I just looked to the council of the board on that one.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I think we just started the action on it. I feel like we already have decided to support the event. I think it's just a matter of the funding year, that the funds, the calendar year and the funding being adjusted to next year's budget year. So I don't think that there's a need to take action to go backwards now, unless the committee feels strongly that you'd like to reconsider that vote.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, seeing no thoughts on that, I think we'll go ahead and go back to the turkey trot. I'm not clear on exactly where we left off. Is there still a desire to do a $5,000 event support, a motion for $5,000 for event support? Or knowing we have 14,000 left in this year's budget, is there a desire to do the full 7,500? I'll go to Todd. Todd, can you hear me? Is that, I think you had suggested more like 5,000, or was that?
I think I was left. I kind of wouldn't. I'm not really a big fan of spending money for out of 2023's budget. We don't even know what we have. I see more in favor, I think, of leaving the Beer City funding coming out of the 2022 budget. But then again, I'm not a finance. That's not my area of expertise. I don't know if that's a possibility. But to me, the earmarked money that we don't even know how much we have yet seems kind of, I prefer to, you know, spend what we know we have at this point and then worry, you know, take it out of the 22 budget, and then for events that are applied for in 23, take that out of the 23 budget. But then again, I'm not a finance guy. I don't know how that works on the back end. That's just my thought. I would be comfortable with 4,000 for the turkey trot.
Okay,
I think the motion is still 5 for the turkey trot, right? So unless folks really want me to amend that motion, which, you know, I'm happy to do based on the majority, I think that's where we're at. regardless of the question around what 23's budget will be, which will likely be the exact same as it's been for every year prior.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, okay, that we already took action on Beer City. That's the event that's taking place in 2023. I think we can
Yep.
we can easily accommodate the amount of funding and recognize which budget it should come out of, next year's budget. For the turkey trot, which we are on now, this happens in November, so that does still fall within this calendar year. And the motion on the table was 5,000. I don't think there was a second to that yet. Is there someone?
No, I did second it.
You did second that. Okay, sorry. So we're having a discussion about that now. That's what's on the table. I think we should go ahead and take a vote on that. And if that, or if someone would like to make an official friendly amendment to that, please speak now. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and take a vote on the 5,000.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take the vote. Member Pace.
Yes,
Great. Member Renteria,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Rumble.
Aye.
Thank you. And Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion passes with an amount of support of $5,000 for the event.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we have completed our event support application review. So we'll go ahead and move on to item 5 on the agenda, which is the approval of the draft 2021-2022 annual report and the 2022-2023 work plan. A copy of this document has been distributed for your review. Are there any questions from the board about the report and work plan? And I'm happy to share it on my screen and look at any sections of it as needed.
If I may, I just want to give, I don't know if Raphael's on the line, but really want to thank him for his work with Charlene and putting this together. And I don't think that there's very much that's changed or different than prior year reports. And just want to acknowledge the good partnership there with the city. So thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, Raphael's not on today. He's on vacation, but I'll pass that along. I'm sure he will appreciate that. All right. Well, before we put a motion on the table to approve or otherwise, let's go ahead and call for public comment if there are any on this item.
There is. Just one moment while I share the screen. And Mr. Fraser, you have been given permission to speak. If you would confirm your ability to see the screen, that would be great.
Yes, thank you very much. And a beautiful day here. Sorry, I need to turn this one thing off here. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I wanted just to be sure that the short-term rental situation is properly represented in this report. Obviously, short-term rentals provide an income to the scheme. And so, again, it's important that we note that there isn't representation on the SRT BIA board. The additional required components of the report, I would imagine, should include the legal question that's in the courts now as to whether the SRT BIA is legally constructed and is actually being operated within the law. So that's a question that's going to be answered sometime in the next few months, apparently. There's also then a dispute about boundaries. So regardless of how that question is answered, certainly the pursuit of justice is going to require representation on the SRT BIA board or perhaps a adjustment of the boundaries. And again, that this isn't mentioned in the additional required components is a little bit perplexing. But it's not unusual because, you know, we find that the financial presentation is really lacking. And as a side note, our research group outside of the short-term rentals, more about government openness, has embarked on a rent sharing index calculation. And we find that the SRTBIA and related activities rank really high on that. So we're going to need to get down into that, as we've been doing over the last couple of years, to figure out how we can adjust that for the public good. Of course, there's a lot of information missing about short-term rentals, and you know, that's a little bit perplexing, again, because that is an important part of the quote unquote tourism economy and has all sorts of additional impacts. So it'll be interesting to take the equity flow chart and apply it to the short-term rental ecosystem. We'll see that it gets very high marks indeed. You know, it's basically we predict that 2023 is going to be the rise of the short-term rental, the solidification of fact-based regulations and processes that are good for our community, everybody's community, our whole city and our county. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fraser.
Great, thank you. It doesn't look like we have any other public comments at this time. Can you confirm, Eileen?
I can. We have no additional raised hands at this time.
Great, thank you. All right, do any board members wish to make a motion to approve the annual report and work plan?
So moved.
Thank you, Peter. Second?
Tony seconds.
Thank you, Tony. And Eileen, could you take a roll call? Oh, well, any discussion? I should ask first. Any discussion or thoughts? Okay, seeing none. We'll just go ahead to a roll call vote. Eileen?
Member Rumble,
Aye.
Member Pace,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Renteria,
Aye.
Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion passes with a unanimous vote.
Great. Thank you, everyone. That is the end of our agenda today. Unless there are any questions from the board, I will now adjourn. Thank you for your time.